Good.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Connect to the Future. Today, we are blessed to have everyone with us, and as per rules that were sent into the chat, we have asked that the last person to join gives us gratitude today. And for that, we have Xolile to thank. And Xolile, would you please give us some gratitude for today? Xolile, are you there? I think he's having some troubles. So the next best person would be Naja. You knew this was coming.
I think he's teasing us.
Should we all just keep like quiet and then it end up coming back to me?
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Hello, Xolile.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
We good?
He wasn't there.
Hey, sorry about that. How you doing?
We're all good, man. How are you doing?
Good, good. I'm okay.
We're good.
Thanks.
We're good, Colin.
Cool.
We're waiting for you.
Okay. Yes, I'm here now. You can start.
No. It's your turn to give us gratitude. You were the last one to join the meeting.
Oh, okay. Sorry, man. I think I missed that. Yeah. Okay. Look, I think at this stage I'm just grateful to still be alive, and I haven't yet been infected, but a colleague of mine was, which was a scary situation. But for now we're still okay, so I'm just grateful for that. I work in a bank, so I meet all kinds of people in my job. So you try and be as careful as possible. You're always wearing a mask. Even now, I just stepped out. I'm always wearing a mask and always having sanitizers and washing hands. It's become a routine. I'm used to it, but you know, it's still scary. So I'm just grateful to still have my health at this stage.
I think I'll jump in and say I echo the exact same thing. I'm in a slightly better position. The where I am, we've been 49 days without any new cases or active cases. So we are almost, there's no regulations other than the borders are closed and that's it. But nothing else. We can do whatever we want. So it's sobering, especially looking at the numbers in South Africa right now. They're soaring. And it's gotten to the point, like you were saying, you know, colleague, it's gotten to the point where now it's no longer just a disease or a virus that's been spread. You know someone now. I know a few people who've gotten it or who are waiting results, and it's a very sobering thought. I'm also grateful. I think maybe in that sense, we might as well just echo everyone's gratitude if anyone feels like it.
Come on, Wise.
Wise is grateful for cooking.
Oh. Hloni, why are you putting me on the spot? Okay.
No, because you know what? We can see everybody's face, but you can't see yours, so that's why I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, you missed out, but this is what I look like this evening.
Oh, yes, I remember. Yeah. So you're on the spot right now. So say gratitude then.
Gratitude, guys. Okay, my company is a registered home builder, whatever that means. Actually, I was writing an exam this morning, which I had 3 days to study for. Yeah, we got the accreditation, and I'm actually grateful for that. And just like Koil has said, you know, the reality here is, as far as the COVID is concerned, it's becoming more and more real on the fact that people closer to you are getting it. And probably I can say it's also probably a wake-up call to how we react and how we approach our day-to-day lives, with caution, because some people are still in denial of the fact that this is here, and that's really, it is killing people, but yeah, I'm grateful for the help.
Thank you, Wise.
And back to my pots.
Cool. While Wise brews his pot, we will be brewing on this conversation. So without further ado, I'd like to hi, Ember. Welcome. I'd like to introduce Hloni. Hloni will be taking us through a very interesting subject that I think most of us almost don't like to retrospectively look at, especially in our daily lives, and because it's a very broad and wide subject that goes beyond just the physical things that you see. It could extend to a lot more things. So I'm very much looking forward to unpacking her subject, which is decluttering. Without any further ado, I'd like Hloni to give us a presentation.
Okay, guys. I know in the past weeks we've dealt with different topics and that are totally serious, quite technical. So I thought this has been bugging my mind for quite some time as to the clutter. And this started with me about 2 years ago when we had to renovate the house, and we realized we had so much in the house that we did not need, but we kept buying. Every year, every month, we kept buying stuff. And that took me back to the year that we occupied the house. That was about 18 years ago, that the amount of stuff we brought to the house was a quarter of what we had 2 years ago. So when we had to renovate the house, we took all the stuff out of the house, but then we realized we had a chunk of things that we didn't want back to the house because we were creating this new space, we were creating this new energy, we wanted to breathe, we actually wanted financial freedom. And so I realized that every day we clean the house, we clean around the things that we don't want, and just shift it aside, dust off, you put it back. And when you look back 6 months down the how many times have I used this thing? How many times have I used the list of things that I have in the house? When the springing, take all the dishes out, put them back where they were, but then we ask ourselves, when did we use this? Sometimes I even forgot we had kinds of dishes that we had. You know how we collect crockery, and without even mentioning my husband, that we had to clean out the garage. But cleaning out the garage meant that he needed to buy a tool shed, because I was of the opinion that let's get rid of the things that you have not used in the past 2 years at least, not to mention 1 year. And so it was a matter of negotiating to say, okay, we throw this away or we put it back into the tool shed. So that was number one. And it came to a serious realization that if I look around the house, there's no space to breathe and there's no space to move around, because we've got ornaments, we've got collectives as travelers, we have children's clothes that they don't fit anymore. Season to season, we buy new clothes for the kids. We say, okay, let's shift this to the back. They don't fit anymore, but let's buy new. And no, I have this blender, but I saw a nicer blender. But what's wrong with the blender that I had? Nothing was wrong. So I found myself with too many of the same things that are perfectly in working conditions, but I still owned, they still belonged to me. And so just to jump out of that, we moved offices from the old building at Exaro to the new posh building now. And can I just tell you, we moved last year. And by that time I was in this journey of decluttering. And I realized that I did not need 90% of the things that I had in the old building. So I moved out of the old building to the new building with just my laptop and a few documents, and that's it. Because I had educated myself to only have a coffee mug, a water bottle, and my laptop at work. But you find people having carry cases with documents they don't open. 3 months down the line, they realize, oh no, they have this document, they haven't opened, but it's heavy on their bags. And so I was feeling good when people would think, oh no, I still want this document, or should I scan it? And then I asked, what's the date on the document? 2 years ago. Do you still need the document? Yeah, and if you don't need it, the technology has moved on and information has changed. You don't need that old document. You can have the documents on the hard drive or on the cloud and so on. But then the last part was that when we moved from, my parents moved from suburbs to the farms where they live now. They took everything, even the dogs. And then I said, but do you need all the things that you just took now? So the bottom line is that I personally found peace with decluttering. And when I Googled the word clutter, I was comforted to see that it is owning a lot of things at once in one place. You can own a whole lot of things everywhere, but if they're not in one place, at least you can breathe. At least you have space to move around, and because it actually has health hazards, this cluttering thing. And if I look at clutter and collections and hoarding, they're almost similar, but hoarders do not have an idea of space. They just don't want space. They want to fill every little step in the house with something. Even if it's 25,000 years old, they feel, no, but it's replacing the previous one. So if you are replacing the previous one must go, so that you have the equal amount of space around you. So thirdly, I was looking at my study and I realized we have this nice cabinet of books. Books and books and books. My children went to school. We were so proud that there were certificates from grade R. I mean, they're big now. They're big people now. 23, 18, and 16. Who wants those certificates from grade R? Who wants their hand paints? So I realized I had to chuck out a whole lot of things from the house. So in the process, I had a contender. My husband kept saying, no, but we need this. And then I realized, let me do this when he's not around. So I literally hired a skip waste bin, literally. And as a Jehovah's Witness, we had books and books and books. I throw the books away and I didn't feel guilty because we have them digital now. So we threw a whole lot of things away. But when he came back, the skip waste bin was still here. And I thought, but why is this guy not taking the bin waste away? Because today, we said 2 days. My husband came back, he climbed into the skip waste bin. Said, no, we can rescue this. I'm like, there is nothing being rescued here. We are not rescuing anything. But can I just give you a picture of how our house was after all of that? You have space, you can breathe. And I had to be disciplined myself not to buy more, because it all starts with buying more shoes, buying more makeup, buying more scarves. You have 18 different color scarves, and then you have 16 coats, different color coats in winter. You open up a nice closet for winter, but there's nothing wrong with that as long as there's space, as long as there's financial freedom. So I read a book called The Minimalist Way. The Minimalist Way actually stamped what I was talking about, that it's the physical things or items that we have around us, and it's the mind that we clutter ourselves with things that don't require our attention. And I guess it comes with age, because the more things we pile up in our heads, the more we get depressed, we get tired all the time, we don't have time for ourselves, we are so unhappy. And so just to summarize this talk, if you recall the introductory clip, I asked a question: have you moved house recently? What did you do with the things that could not fit in the house? Have you moved office? And here are the benefits that I have personally seen from decluttering. That first of all, decluttering doesn't take one day. I had to convince myself that I don't need these things. And the fact that I don't need them, they must be out of my way. And so I took action and I took them out of the way. And I don't regret a thing, because I was not using these things. So what I've seen is I had a lot of financial freedom, because what I have, if it works, it works. If I have to replace it, then the replacement or the old item must leave. So I bring something new in, the old item must leave, but not with clothes. It will be gadgets, or it will be appliances. If I find a nice, posh and shiny microwave, Samsung, big, whatever, if I have an old one, I must give it away to somebody. Somebody else will use it. So I found that I had a lot of financial freedom, that I don't have to buy all the time when I go to the shops, because I have all what I need. I have all that I can use. Because often I would go to the shop and say, but I can buy a new dinner set. I've got 3 dinner sets. There's nothing wrong with the dinner set. I mean, why do I need those? Then when I come home, I make space, I push the other ones, and then I even pack them in the study, in the display. I mean, that was not necessary. So secondly, what I've seen is I can breathe in my house. There's breathing space, because I don't have too many things all over, books that are gathering dust and ornaments. But it was my own choice. I'm not saying people should do that. And then thirdly, I found that I'm healthy in just myself, because I'm breathing new air. And even our helper, when she cleans the house, it's so Shaimoya, Ember, it just means, Ember and Nadia, it means that there's air moving from one door to another, because there's spaces. So I also realized out of this exercise for 2 years that I love open spaces. And unfortunately, when I visit somebody's house, the first thing I look at the space. Can I breathe? Is there enough space in the house? Can I breathe? I become claustrophobic, and this is new. And so, but I found a lot of benefit from decluttering. And lastly, with the lockdown now, there is a lot of financial gain, or maybe savings, because I don't want to go, when I go to the shops, I go and buy what I have to buy, I come back. Because first of all, I'm paranoid of the virus. I don't want to meet people. I don't want to be feeling guilty that I didn't hug somebody that I saw. So I go grab what I want, come back home. Then it means I don't use money unnecessarily. So that's the story, and that's the experience that I've had for the past 2 years. It started tough, but I'm loving this. I'm enjoying this. Even when we traveled just recently with the kids, we just backpack, we travel, we buy clothes where we go, but we don't come back with a whole pile of suitcases with clothes that we don't necessarily need. So I'd like to go to hear from you guys. If my time is up, I think it is. I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you think about decluttering? Do you think there's benefit? Do you think you can give it a try? I mean, I am evident. I am a living example that it has given me so much peace. And it's just inner peace. And I don't have to please someone who's buying a brand new pot or a brand new something when I'm going shopping with them, because I've got enough. I've got 16 pots, but I only use 4 max whenever I cook. So that's the story that I had to share with you guys. So the question still stands. Do you think you are in the cluttered space and we can't move you can connect to the future if we have clutter. Right?
Nice, yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Can I be the first one to comment?
Yes, please do go ahead, Tumi.
Oh, firstly, thank you, Hloni, for a very interesting topic. My Thursdays are hectic, but out of all that hecticness, when I want to find myself in a nice corner, like to cool down a little bit, I check the speaker for the week. Because normally when it comes, I don't normally get the time to listen. So I listened to your video today, and then I was laughing as much as I was laughing as you were presenting. I think your topic is quite interesting. I thought I had a lot of expectations. I thought maybe we won't talk only about physical cluttering, like furniture and clothes and things that we keep in our houses, but also cluttering our finances with debit orders that we do not need, and so forth. So I want to share my experience of decluttering. It's just that I hadn't realized that I was decluttering when I was doing this, but now that after your presentation, I'm realizing, oh, okay, actually I've been decluttering for all these years. I have a policy that, a principle rather, when I move from a certain stage of my life, when I move from that stage to another, or even if I'm moving, okay, for example, I realized this when I was at varsity, when I was doing my undergrad. I finished the degree, and then I stayed at home the following year looking for a job. Before I could even get that job, which I didn't get, I felt like my mind was cluttered. I needed to free some space because I kept on having university memories. You know, you waking up, you taking a bath and getting dressed, and then the T-shirt would remind me of a lecture of that day when I was very hungry, making my way to a lecture, or the day when I was bored. So for me, it's clothes. The first thing I release, it's clothes. The clothes that are associated to a certain memory. So when I finished my degree, I took out all the clothes that reminded me of my university time. And then I got a job, and then I was like, oh, okay, now I want clothes that will speak to me without any memories. And then, so I've been moving houses. So clothes that will remind me of that other house, I give away. I even have work clothes that I strictly wear at work, because I don't want to, on a Saturday when I'm pulling on a jacket or whatever, I'm going to be reminded of an incident from work. So that is how I declutter my mind, by letting go of things that are associated with the memories of whatever it is that I'm trying to take away from my mind. Yeah. So thank you. Very interesting.
Oh, that's a very interesting point, Tumi.
Can I respond onto that?
Yeah, please.
When I looked at the time that I was given by the host, I sort of I sort of had to reprioritize my talk, because my topic actually goes beyond just physical cluttering. It's about psychological decluttering, and which means getting rid of, bad relationships now, yeah, bad relationships, friends, even family members that are drawing blood from us. And so this decluttering is actually unlearning, or taking off what you used to be, to being a new person who is fresh, clean, without all these hundreds and layers of things. And so it also goes with our personalities of pleasing people. So the people side of things catches us because we want to please. I don't have that. So my decluttering process long as it was, it touched all angles, finances, family. There are family members I don't talk to because they are so toxic in my life. They are, if I can just mention quickly, when I decided I didn't want to go to bury my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, I made a decision because I felt like work will go on without me, because I didn't want to be in contact with people who are toxic. So decluttering also touches people that are such a burden or are such weight on our shoulders.
Yeah, definitely. You nailed it there, because I guess when it comes to decluttering, it's all about the space available to you and you protecting it and making sure that it is available for whenever you need it, right? The more you pile things into that space, the less space you have to work around for any reason. And this goes from an emotional capacity. You have a certain limited amount of space for you to operate around your emotions, and physical as well, and mental, and all that. So again, I echo the fact that this subject goes beyond just the physical. It goes and it touches almost everywhere else. But I think the analogy that I had in my head, or how I see this working, is if you look at a snake, a snake goes through shedding, and there's a reason for that. It goes through shedding. It gets rid of the dead weight. It gets rid of the dead cells and all that stuff. But as people, we don't. We seem to carry our dead weight. I don't know whether because we've been told it makes us stronger, that I'm walking around with a 10 kg weight on my shoulder, whereas I could be faster. I could get to the next point quicker rather than at a very steep and heavy pace and so forth. So, yeah, what about photographs? That's actually a big thing. I think that's even slightly different from me, Naja. I feel like sometimes I don't even want to take the photograph because I'm missing the actual event that's happening in front of me. So that's my other thought process in there. But some, I guess, are worth the taking and reliving and all that stuff. But as a person, I think it boils down to how sentimental are you? How much sentimental value do you place on things? So maybe we need to reel it back in and say, hold on, let's refocus our sentimental values and attach them to the right things. What are the right things? Are our people right next to us the people that we need to value over me having two cars in the garage? I would rather have my wife go to Paris. Do you know what I mean? So now I get to reprioritize myself, and like you're saying, you get that freedom. She's happy, obviously a happy wife, happy life, so everything is good. But like, I didn't have to have a car that was sitting there in the garage doing nothing, collecting tax, and me paying extra debits, like Dumi was saying. There's quite a lot of happening around this subject, I feel, and I think I'll let the other guys actually explain on their own thought processes.
Can I come in? Oh, I'm in already. You mentioned, you touched on photographs, Vincent, for today. I think that's the first stop. People need to stop taking photographs of everything they see that they will not use. Because if you find a lot of people's phones are filled with photographs now, there isn't even space for incoming messages, because you see something pretty, you take a photograph, and you never go back to actually look at the photograph. You're taking photographs just for the sake of taking photographs. I don't take photos as much as I used to when I was still young and silly. So now, for me, when I see this happens more often now than it used to happen before. There are some moments, when those moments where people like to capture photographs, I'll be like, no, I don't want to share this with anyone who is not here. This is for me and for my eyes to consume. And if I see this and enjoy the view and what's not, it's going to be stored in my memory, so I can go back to it as and when I please. I don't have to, because most of the time when we take photographs and we post them on our social networks, the people that will be scrolling through will not see the beauty that we are actually really seeing. And those photo albums that we have in our cupboards somewhere in the house of family members that do not like you, that do not speak to you, that would not even come to your funeral. I don't know why we keep them. We need to start there. Photographs. I'm not gonna go into the ornaments. You know, the thing is, I think we've been social constructions are just too much. They are killing us. Now, with this thing of ornaments, I think ornaments and mementos, the whole purpose is so that it can remind you of something. But when you get into a house and there's ornaments all over, when you ask the person, okay, so tell me about this, they won't have a clue because they've forgotten, because that thing has been there for the longest time. So what is it reminding you of? So if for me, if you buy me, you bought me a gift like 5 years ago, and today we're not getting along, why should I give the gift? Because it's going to remind me of you, the person that I do not want to be thinking about or reminded of. So it must go. Bye-bye.
But then are you not holding on to the good memories that were there? Because they did happen. Do you know
But
what
the
I mean?
good have been overshadowed by the bad.
Okay.
Hmm.
So
If I don't want to think about you, if I don't want to think about you now, why should I look at this T-shirt that reminds me of you?
Yeah.
But I have, for
Yeah,
instance,
go on, Naja.
a tiny house, like literally a tiny house. So it's like 22 square meters. But the thing is, I am a bit of a hoarder. Yeah, sorry, Hloni, but I'm really trying to tune it down a little bit. But it's really difficult because I have all these. I traveled a lot, and when you're traveling, you also sometimes buy things or you get things, and it's like for me, this house where I'm now living is like a memory box. So I have like all these little things in the house that remind me of some place that I was having a good time, very good memories, and it's very hard for me to to detach. So if you see here, you see a lot of things in the house. And
Ooh, Nadia.
yeah,
You must ask yourself, how many times have you used those things in the past 6 months? It started there, from there with me to say,
I'm not able.
how often do I use this? You see?
It's like, for instance, a wooden box. And I mean,
What is it for? What's in the box? I think I need to start. I must visit you, and I have a reason to visit you to ask you questions. What is this for? Why are you using it? Can't you use this space for something else?
There's an empty space
Oh,
inside.
just for paper.
No,
I think
it says, "Dear Nadia."
I'm appointing myself as a decluttering agent to your places, to your
I will
spaces.
subscribe to your channel if you declutter my house.
Yeah.
If I may, thank you. This is a very interesting subject, and I think it's definitely talking to me, because I think my problem is procrastination. I think I've been so used to a routine before COVID. I've been so used to a routine where I leave home very early to avoid traffic, and I come home very late to avoid traffic. I'm not a traffic person. But that eats up so much of my time. And when I get home, I've got no time for anything. And so I've become so used to that routine that even now, during COVID, there's no more traffic. I wake up slightly later, and even when I leave work, I leave early. But there's a gap of time that I don't know what to do with myself, and I'm just procrastinating. And there's so much that I can actually do, but Yeah, so thank you. This is very interesting, and I'm learning a lot. And it's definitely motivating. Thank you. Oh, sorry, wrong button.
Amber's hand is
Hi
up.
guys.
Yeah. Oh, there you
go. Ladies first.
Okay. I also, Nadia, have a wooden box which has nothing in it, but my one plays a tune.
It's a music
throw
box.
away. It makes a music. Oh, it's so stupid. Yeah, so when we moved house like a year and a half ago, yeah, and I remember at the time moving from a bigger house with lots of flatmates to just me and my boyfriend, and at the time thinking like we loved this flat, it was beautiful, but I had one moment where one of the times we visited it with some boxes that we were taking across, I thought, oh, it's too small, I can't fit all the stuff. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is completely crazy. Like, I love this flat and I'm scared I can't fit all my stuff. The stuff has to go. I also I used to have a theory about if I bought new clothes, it meant I had to get rid of old clothes. So like you can buy them, but you have to get rid of the old ones. And I used to have a theory that if I had some clothes and they stayed in a box or a bag for a month and I didn't look for them, then they had to go away. But now it means that I just have piles of clothes all over the house and I'm not using them and they're not going either. So it's just interesting to hear this, like, I need to get stronger at decluttering, but it's good to hear other people's stories of we just collect stuff. Like, what? Yeah. Anyway, it's a good subject. I'm enjoying it.
I think for me, when it comes to clothes, it's a very touchy subject because I'm very bad with my weight. I yo-yo between getting big and small and all that stuff. So most of the times I keep my clothes as motivation. It's like, hey, this doesn't fit me. It's gonna fit me just now. Like if I go and do this, but then it takes me so long to go back there. I'm like, I need clothes now, so I buy new clothes for that size. Or the worst part, I'm in between sizes. So the old ones are too big for me. The old ones are too small. The new ones are too big, and I'm sitting in the middle. I'm just like, what's going on with my life? So I guess it all boils down to discipline as a person, doesn't it? Like it goes back to you as a person. It's like, if you gain weight, you're gonna have to lose clothes. If you lose weight, you're gonna have to lose clothes. Like all that mindset, it's a very dynamic shift that needs to happen in our heads, and it's weird. It is not normal. It's not what I've been socially constructed to think about, if I may use.
Yeah, some social construct.
Yeah, guys, I think I also wanted to chip in here. I'm not sure. There was a time I got kicked out because my Wi-Fi was acting up. But Tumi mentioned, something more around finances, and Hloni confirmed that such was meant to be part of our discussion. And I think the finances is also a very bigger part of these of the clutters that we may have, especially the debit orders. And for me, it took the lockdown to actually go back onto my bank statements and ask myself, because some of these debit orders happen in between the month, so they don't go off maybe on your second or third, whereby you're monitoring what exactly is happening. Some would go off on the 12th, and mostly it's things like your April things, at times, like for me, sometimes I buy applications for photography because there's something that I'm trying to figure out at the particular time, or you sign up for something, it's free at that particular time, and then after 7 days, it then starts charging you. And by the time you know it, you're already paying for this thing month to month. So I was like, actually, those are some of the issues that one has to go back and revisit. So during the time when I was at home, I actually went through my bank statements, and some of the things I couldn't record because of the codes. I had to try and go back on the emails and check, where does this relate to? you know, and it's actually made a huge difference as far as stopping those unnecessary prescriptions that one find themselves in, your Apple TVs and all of these things, you know. So yeah, thank you so much, Hloni. But I just wanted to say that as far as finances are concerned, this thing expands way beyond. You know.
Thanks for that, Wise. I don't know about you and Naja and Ember. I don't know about you guys, but I know that for us Black people in South Africa, one of the things that we also clutter our bank statements with is what do you call these things? Funeral covers. FNB, because I'm banking. Okay, let me not mention any people's businesses. The bank that I'm banking with will offer me a funeral cover. I will take it. At work, a sales rep from wherever will come through and sell us these things. We take it. By the end of the day, I'm insured by 5 different people, and I'm only going to die once. I'll have one death, one funeral, and one unveiling. Done. Why am I paying all of these? Because it's like, oh, this is so cheap, it's affordable. I taught myself that just because it's on sale, it does not mean I have to buy it. Just because it's affordable, it does not mean I have to buy it. Because these things, we do these things even with shopping. Like, oh my, it's on sale, you buy it. The next thing, you don't have space for it in the cupboard. It takes up our money. If we lack the discipline, we end up spending money that we could have spent on something else, or we could have kept for later use. It takes up our space. It clouds our minds. It's just, we really need to have a future where we are not cluttering ourselves with anything, because we do this to ourselves. That's it for now.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah.
So 3 years ago, in fact 5 years ago, I asked myself, why do we have funeral policies, funeral covers? Because a funeral shouldn't be expensive. It's not a party, it's not a wedding, it's unplanned. It's a coffin and a few people eating, and they go away back to their own little homes. Why do we have to have policies? And you find my mother is a recently retired teacher. She had a list of policies from Old Mutual. I'm like, Ma, but why? Because you are not enjoying your money now. And let me tell you, the new way of work going forward, I am so thankful with how things are going to go going forward. And I'm hoping that just on the funeral side, that we keep it like this, that nobody visits for funerals. Family buys a coffin, they bury the loved one, we have dinner, and everybody goes to their little home. Because that's the mentality, that's the reason why people are saving for a funeral. A funeral is a once-off thing. And you find that you're paying, you say, no, like you're saying to me, it's cheap, 150. That 150 rands can buy me groceries for a day or two now. And if somebody dies, maximum 15,000 rands, max 15 grand, they get buried. And that's a max, because it can go to 10,000 rands. It's a coffin, it's a tombstone, it's sandwiches and drumstick and an apple and juice. You go away. We are not here to come and eat our food. You are here to help us bury this person, and you go away. So it goes with the mentality to me, because especially like you said initially, Black people, that's where Black tax comes in. And we need to have a conversation about Black tax, because it starts with us to stop Black tax for our children. Because we are in it, there's nothing we can do now. And it starts with those small things.
Yeah,
you have these debit orders that go in, and then you have these things that are unnecessary to you. So we declutter from that point of view.
It's very interesting. Do you then maybe think all these debit orders for funeral covers is a way of the person who's still alive to leave some sort of money back, because they know they don't have enough money to leave back? Because then when that insurance does pay out, let's say 100K or however, I don't know how much funeral covers pay out. If they pay out 100K and you know that the funeral is only going to cost you, because they actually give you the money for you to do whatever with it, right? So you can budget accordingly and say the funeral is going to cost maybe half of that, and the other half goes to me as an inheritance to my kids. You know what I mean? So maybe people are using it as means of investment. I don't know. It's just the devil's advocate, or playing the other side and saying, are people actually doing these funeral covers as means of saving because they know they can't save any other way? And also, whatever amount of money they would have put into their savings, if it was just their money alone versus being the insurer's money, it would never be that amount of money. Do you know what I mean? So if I insured my life for $1 million, hey, I've got $1 million and I've only paid into it 100K before I die, sadly. I think towards the company, the insurance company, you've probably paid 1.2 mil over what you were supposed to be paid for because you lived longer. So which one do you take, really? So
Can I chip in?
Know. Yeah, please.
I think as far as the funeral covers and life covers are concerned, it can be a bit personalized. Like, for instance, I'll give you a typical example about myself. Others can have different opinions, but I don't have a funeral cover. I don't have a life policy, except that there's those life insurances for a bond or a vehicle, you know, just that unfortunately the bank will say you have to take it. My reasons are, on the families where I've seen life covers and all these things being distributed after a person has died, there's been turmoil. There's been divisions, there's been fights, there's been court cases, and all the nonsense that you can ever think of. So, and I may be saying it jokingly, but I believe that my entire family now knows it. When I have a child, it'll be a different case. But I've said to them, I die, 5,000 rand definitely will be on one of my accounts somewhere, enough for you to just bury me. Because it does really become a challenge. I don't know what happens when the person has died, but we see that the families are left with, and you can't control it because you're gone. You know, you can't come back and say, but I didn't want this to be done in this way. When I left you guys with whatever legacy or money, this is not what I intended it for, you know. But yeah, I know Tumi wanted to say something.
Now my train of thought has been disrupted, but to take a different route to what you're saying, where there's this turmoil, it's especially the pension money, not the life covers, because the life policies, there's a beneficiary who take the money in secret and be nice and wealthy nicely in private. But these funeral covers that are clouding the pay slips are not the ones that pay big monies like your millions, your 300,000. It's these stupid ones that will give you 50,000 rands that the family will box and fight over, and in less than 3 months it's finished. So the ones where it's millions and decent amounts of money, those ones, the people that take those do not have all the 175 rents one and the 250 rents one. So it's just that it's really a conversation that we need to have as the Black people, because it's setting us back.
So maybe let's try and bring it to the future, as the platform is doing that, or is meant to be doing that. Going forward, each and every one of us has to maybe look at this and say, okay, one, I've learned that cluttering or trying to declutter will make my life a better place, and recognizing the clutter in my life, and then maybe I'll have personal space to think, free to do other things, free to actually explore the world as it should be explored. This obviously topic actually always goes back to a lot of topics that we've covered within the system. So ecological footprint, that's the first thing that we spoke about when we started here, is how much are you actually impacting the environment, and how much are you how much are you costing the planet just by you either hoarding or buying more things and keeping them and all that stuff. What's the ecological footprint that you're living in our planet? Things like we just spoke about, I think it was it you, Naja? No, it wasn't you. When we spoke about rioting and protests that are happening, we spoke about statues. How are these statues being cluttered everywhere for us? We spoke about saying statues need to be moved away, because we don't. Was it you, Amber, who did about social protest? Yeah, it's like we need to maybe remove the statues because they are a clutter in our world. But then who's this big principal chief person who is saying, I own these things, therefore I need to declutter them? Because as a person, you're just subjected to them, and you just walk in on a daily basis, and you can't declutter from the imagery and all those senses that are forced within you. I think that's what I said the other time, is like, if we move them into a museum, then you go there willingly and knowing that I want to engage in this emotions rather than being forced onto you. So there's a lot of things that we need to maybe say, okay, like the photos, you keeping them, or the documents, like you're saying, you've got like reports from grade 1 or grade R and all that stuff. How do we maybe better scan those and put them? What are the avenues that are available to us? I think someone, unfortunately I missed that session, spoke about AI or technology in the future as one of our sessions here. How can we link it back to that? How can we say, how do I then now store my favorite memories or pictures or things in a secure, less cluttering situation? Let's come up with solutions.
Well, that won't we do the same thing, but then online?
Yes.
So
I'm suggesting we do away with the photos.
Just delete them.
Yeah.
If I know you, I know you. If I have never met you, I don't know you.
To me, it's very much against photos. What happened to you with photos? There's a beef between you and photos. I must investigate this thing.
Which filter would you like us to use? Have you seen Snapchat? Pictures are better now.
Yeah, clearly there's beef here. Good.
I know, guys, there's no beef.
Okay, I want to share one more very guilty cluttering secret, and that is this. It's volcanic ash from.
Why?
What do you do with that, Nadia? What do you do with that? Because that's like a fault to me also.
Wow, that's volcanic ash.
But you're the only one who knows it's volcanic ash, Nadia. You're the only one who knows that it's volcanic ash. To me, it looks like ash from a fireplace somewhere.
Or coffee beans.
Yeah. No.
And what do you think about us taking pictures, famous pictures, taking a picture of the Eiffel Tower? I mean, don't we have like professionally taken ones already out there? Can you not just download that picture if you want to see it? Can you not just Google it?
Exactly.
How many times can we take a picture of the same place?
Ridiculous. And then stand in line because you want the same picture.
Yeah.
Sure.
Are we
Can
then,
I tell you to give you comfort on photographs? some of the things that become unnecessary. I'm a professional photographer, right? We have a media
Oh my
productions
God,
company.
I'm so sorry. Wise, no offense. My goodness. Ish, now I feel like Nadia after that Jehovah's Witness comment.
Yeah, right. But
so
to your
you
defense,
find
this one.
okay. So you find people taking pictures of the bride and groom. What are they gonna do with those pictures? And everywhere they're like, also, I'm like, but did you get permission from these people to take pictures? Did you get, what are you gonna do? And if you're gonna post these pictures on social media, you have no permission, and it's not right to take their privacy away from them before they even have proper photographs from us. Then they have all these photos on Facebook with you. They have not even seen the proper photo. So to your comfort, to me, photographs must just not be taken by non-professional people, first of all. And secondly, if you don't have a purpose for the photograph, don't take it. Or just take it, look at it on your phone and then delete it, because then they will clutter your space, I think.
Videos, stupid videos, I go.
Yeah, no, it's not on.
Wise, you had something to say? We can't hear you out there.
Ever since I started taking photographs, I don't print them. Everything that I do is digital. And I tell my clients that you want photos, I don't even issue USBs. I'll send them to you via link, you know, because the printing of photographs for me, it's outdated, you know. And I've been fortunate that even on the weddings that I've done, I think probably there are only two people I've had to print books for. But I always try to keep it digital as much as possible. And also backing it up, you know, a person can still come back and say, you did me a function 2018 on this day, and they still have their photos. And I think, probably that's a futuristic thing to do, I hope.
Yeah, they're nice when they're digital, because you can look at them and be like, delete. And then it's gone. You can't wake up 2 weeks later and be like, hey, I still want that one. It's gone, it's gone.
Can I lastly challenge the ladies, sorry, Chairperson, to, especially us that use makeup, we've got bags and little bags and mini bags and extra mini little bags in our big bags, in our cars, and with makeup, same bloody makeup. And you know, it's all, because it's actually one of the stuff that I deliberated to declutter. I was like, yeah, but I need, let me put it on the side. I was guilty when it comes to that. So I would go around makeup and like, oh, okay. And my facial products and my facial products that didn't work, I still have. Hair products, that didn't work, I still had. And then, but I finally got rid of those. But makeup, I still, yeah, you know. So can I just challenge you ladies to go back onto your makeup kits and declutter or get rid of stuff?
Yes, Najo, you're saying?
I was screaming, but I was screaming that you're beautiful. You don't need makeup. Yes.
Oh, really? You have no idea of who I look in reality. So thank you, Nadia.
Should we maybe put out challenges like this for us to discuss the next meeting we have just before we start some things? Like, what have you done since we had our conversation? Because I feel like we have these conversations. Yeah, we have these conversations, and even if you bring it next week and throw it on the bin in front of us, and we know it's on the bin, it's out. Bring something, a piece of item, even if it's one thing or two, or the whole house if you want. Bring it, show us, and declutter it in front of us. We'll all log in 15 minutes before, and just get our decluttering done, and we start on a fresh start on the next session.
Amen. Yeah. Just to add on that, I took time during the weekend to think about what Naja was saying about the meat that we eat and what's not. and I made a promise to myself that I'm going to cut down as much as possible. Yeah, I've only bought. Oh yes, it wasn't last week. It was the other week.
Yeah, the week before.
What did we talk about? Last week it was Ryan. Yes, and Mbali, I did try your thing. Okay, no, I did not go to the Street Ladies, but I went to another shop, not Woolies, and yeah, I did find peeled butternut, but the packaging is different. But yeah,
But how do
I'm
we
going
get
to
there?
try. I'm going to try. I accept the challenge. Yeah, I'm eating less meat, and I'm trying to find other options of sourcing my veggies.
Nice. I like this. We challenge each other every time, come back the next time around and show off what we've done. So next week we are all decluttering.
Can I just challenge the guys?
Yes.
Can I just challenge the guys? And I know maybe you're different to my husband, Shem. I hope you all are different. Can you please just take out all the slips in your wallets and in your backpacks and in your all the slips, the little papers that you buy stuff from Woolworths, you buy stuff from Pick and Pay. When you look at the slip, the print is not even visible. You can see 2017. No.
I used to be like that. That is so true.
I know, because men will take the slip and slide it into the wallet next week and the other week and the other. If you're not going to return the item,
can I tell you why?
Can
I tell you where that came from? For me specifically, it came from my dad. My dad, literally, his wallet was this size because it has slips and everything. But every time we had to return an appliance, he had a slip for everything. He never missed a slip. I don't know how. So like, he used to pull out a slip from anywhere. It's like, sorry, this appliance from 2000 ago. I was like, oh, okay, this is the slip. It's like, how do you know this? How? So I tried to replicate and it failed.
Thanks God, I'm not a victim of that.
My fiance is also not a slip person, but
yeah, no, I don't like
the
papers.
tools, Hloni, the tools.
I mean, the tools are a nightmare. Hey, we needed a totally use for the tools. Then got rid of the tools, and it's different. It's different. And this one is from Ryobi. This one is the same stuff. It's the same number 18 screwdriver. Look at the sleeve on. That is 2010. 2010.
This is from April. I don't know why I still have it.
Get rid of that. So I'm giving you a challenge to please look at your pockets.
Cool. Challenge accepted. Thank you so much, guys, for today. This has been an amazing, amazing topic. It's been light, but it's also been very impactful. I think I speak for everyone. We all relate to this. Thank you so much, Hloni.
Thank you, guys. And once we go off recording, I want to tell you the one thing that helped me to declutter as well. But when we are off recording.
Okay, let's go off the record.
Bye.